Hi, this is William, and this is the 8th devlog for Unnatural Investigations. Alright, so while marketing is in full steam, and a lot of effort's been put towards that, still a lot's been done on the game continuously. Obviously, one of the first things you're going to notice is the new main menu, where the login screen kind of thing. I originally, I wanted something more simple when I was designing the original one, but it was a bit plain. I normally I like to make these interactive ones, or ones that have something going on. So that's what I did. Updated all the fonts and all that stuff, and I have actually a scene for the level. So it's a pretty cool little dark scene with some stuff. I think it looks pretty cool. So, I mean, all the functionality is the same. I just updated the buttons and stuff like that, so you can see all the layouts. Kind of looks a little bit better with this darker theme. And on the some more updates here, I did add a info section here, and this is still a work in progress in terms of updating it. But what's essentially going to look like is something like this, where you're going to see the size of the map, the level of danger around the area, and the overall difficulty. Now, the overall difficulty is a factor of a bunch of different things. It's not necessarily how hard the boss is. It's a factor of the size of the map and the area difficulty, area danger. And the area danger is a new idea I was thinking about after some testing went on, some external tests, that a way to integrate in a bit more combat, not crazy amounts, but enough to continue showing off some of the enemies and gunplay, but not necessarily having to worry about what kind of ammo to kill them. You just shoot them and kill them. So the small map sizes are really going to be more focused on exploring a little bit, doing your research, not necessarily have to worry about being attacked at all times. You still get your general spawn-ins, when you have the vision on too long, but for the most part, it's relatively safe. Now, they're going to be medium-sized maps, which are a bit larger, probably about twice the size as the other ones, and they're going to have ambient danger. So there might be some wolves that are constantly roaming around, maybe a small group of mercenaries or humans, bandits, things like that. Nothing to get scared about, but enough to cause a little bit of a threat here and there. And how that'll work is they'll continuously spawn randomly, and it'll keep you on your feet. And then the last one that we're going to implement is a large map, and those are going to be probably about 4 times the size of the normal map and of the small map, and they'll have mini bosses. Now, the only creature that's going to require special ammo is the bosses, but the mini bosses are just going to have a lot of health and a lot of minions, things like that, and they'll be spread out on the map, so you'll have to do more coordination. We won't start getting into those maps until a little bit later. We're still doing a lot of marketing and things, and still working on some systems, but that's the idea. And as for the danger, there will be small maps with higher danger and medium maps with low. It's going to fluctuate all through, so there'll be easy maps and medium and hard all around in different sizes, so people can pretty much enjoy all the types. They don't engage with, like, they want to do a big map, but they don't want to be too effective enemies. Let's see. Normally you can't go into third person. I still have it active. But I did update the animations for what other people see. You won't really be seeing this because you're not supposed to be going in third person. But yeah, so it's a little bit more fluid. The other ones were a little bit more rigid. There's still a little bit of rigidity on here when he stops and stuff, but essentially it's a lot better than it was. A little bit more real there. Nothing else changed with the ammo. Okay, so again with the UI, the whole UI did change. One thing that I did notice, this is a side note, but we have been doing a lot of marketing. And part of our marketing strategy is YouTube and Twitch sponsorships. So essentially, we'll, through a specific program, we'll reach out, get some people that are interested. Obviously, we pay them to sponsor it, so they'll show off the video, obviously show off what they're doing to other people, and hopefully get more people engaged. Anyways, I do watch all the videos and the content that they provide, to make sure that they actually do provide contact, and also to see what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy, and if there are any bugs that pop up, because it's still a few of them here and there. And one thing I did notice was with the locked chest and float for just test, but it kind of stood out a little bit, way different than the rest of the mini games, obviously because it's like a totally different system, as well as there was a bunch of bugs that were related to that. So for now, that's removed in terms of the little lock picking thing. So now you get this more simple, basically the same thing as the lockpicking was, except for without the animation part, and it's actually using a different system. But again, you'll get that when you're picking locks. There's no sound, nothing yet, and I'll get it a little bit later. And as it'll get harder, depending on your level. But for now, essentially, this is what the lockpick's gonna look like. Just like the other mini games we have that are a simple looking thing, and that seems to work a lot better. So that was one thing that I noticed in some of the streamers and YouTubers. Another good thing to talk about in relation to the streaming and the YouTube is it seems to be going relatively well. Obviously the game's got hiccups here and there, and it's still early, but from what I could make out from the videos so far that people have played, they do seem to be enjoying it, which is a plus. I mean, obviously we want to enjoy it, and they seem to be having fun. There were some issues with essentially when you start a game, and I think it's like this with most games that are a little bit complicated. Is there's no guide on how to actually play the game, so a lot of the streamers had issues. And again, this is the new window. I like the staticky look. Obviously some people might not like it because it's a bit bright. I may change the actual look of it later if a lot of people dislike it or it does bother people. I actually like it, so that's what we're doing now. But what I did is I did update this, so when people are playing, like right now, the engineer and the forensic person are the least utilized yet, and that's specifically for the reason that once the game does go out in early access, we hope to get a lot of feedback, and we're going to tailor these classes a little bit differently. However, the engineer, you can make traps as anybody, but eventually it's going to be going to make traps as engineer. You can only search the body as a forensic. Obviously, medium and occult are kind of already in there, working like as they are intended. And for these two classes, since they are the two special classes that require something different, I did add in a little bit more. Like here, I put note, you must toggle the medium vision, because what I did notice is a lot of people were playing and they needed, they went to the class like they're supposed to, and they picked occult, and they assumed that was all they needed to do. Whereas if you look at the bottom right, you have to hit Q, and you have to, that's it. But they were like double tapping it and this and that, and they really weren't paying attention to what was going on down there. And I know it's kind of hard to, if you're looking forward, it's kind of hard to notice a little eyeball blinking, so you don't know you're in that vision. But the reason that it's so important is because obviously when you're in the vision, you're in it long enough, then demons see you for the demon side, and the medium goes see you, things like that. So it's pretty important. So I added that obviously here. Hopefully people will read it. And then in the game info, I expanded that quite a bit too. Obviously the controls, they're all still the same. I added a mission section that kind of tells you what you need to do. You need to locate the clues. It must be studied. This gives you pretty much the base of what you need to do. I even added pictures in. This is obviously the old layout, which I'll adjust later, but it kind of tells you, what you're looking at. It tells you what the ghosts look like roughly. There are these bluish figures. What the relic looks like, the big large one. What the little crystals look like you need to power that. What chests look like. The forensic table, the occult table, the summoning table, engineer, ammo. So I'm hoping that by adding all these things in there, it'll help people, because a lot of people, the first match or the second match, they're struggling to understand. And another thing they're struggling at as well is this part here, which I'm gonna have to work on. Clue 3 is stumping a lot of people because it's not directly related to what it's asking. Like here you'll get it'll say what it is. Here pretty much for the most part, except for a few of them, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do or how I want to work that out. I don't want it to be too easy, but I don't know if I'll just create some kind of codex or something. Eventually people are going to understand what it is, but still working on that. So there's been a few little issues there, but obviously you need to know those so you can pick the creature, and then what you can see is what type of ammo it needs. And I've noticed too is, and actually it's probably better I'll show you, what I also did too for the marketing push is I actually included the single player demo, which, a side note, it will be a part of one of the Steam next demo things, one of the ones I've signed up for one of them, so it'll be in there. So I'm really focusing on that as well to make it polished, but a lot of people played that, and I had to update this as well. This is the screen that pops up. First off, I made it was pretty detailed, but I had to make it a little bit more detailed because I want people to actually press J so they can get all the data they need. And then I noted that in the demo you have a chance to encounter these 3 bosses. Then also please read the boss data, because each boss in the demo require different ammo to hurt them and have other conditions to keep in mind. An example is the Wendigo cannot be damaged while a zombie spawner is active. And then I just wanted to mention a zombie spawner looks like dirt mounds with little tombstones on them and must be shot until gone before the Wendigo can take any more damage. So other bosses are different. Check the thing. So a lot of people have been playing single player demo, and they get around to the Wendigo, and they do figure out that they need fire ammo, so they choose the fire ammo. However, they didn't read the first thing, or they didn't understand the first thing, and then when they go to the creatures, if you look at the creature, if you scroll down here, Wendigos call on the undead to join the fight. Undead emerge from cursed earth mounds and will do so until the mound is destroyed. The Wendigo draws on the energy from the mounds, so they must be destroyed before the Wendigo can be damaged again. Werewolf is a little bit different. When badly hurt, the werewolf also summons 2 demonic direwolves. While the wolves are alive, the werewolf is invulnerable. Now the vampire, he just will randomly spawn somewhere and come back super strong, super fast. So he's a bit easier when it comes to those terms. But in any case, I wanted each boss to feel different. So this is the start of them feeling different. But it does require people to get familiar with them. So it's similar to like Phasmophobia, where you're looking at the ghost, you're kind of studying it. They need to do that. And so again, if you're interested in playing the game, it's not all gung-ho. I'm gonna make some levels later that's more linear in terms of combat, going down the path, get to the end, extracting people, things like that. That's part of my future goals. But in this instance, the goal is to know what you're up against. And I'll do a little bit here on the single player level while we chat. But it's very important. I've noticed a good amount of the streamers have neglected that part, the actual investigation part, and it comes down to the wire, and the boss spawns, and they're scrambling to either pick the right ammo or figure out what it is, and So that's one of the things that I noticed. I wanted to call out. Is, you know, gotta read the stuff. I mean, it's only gonna get harder too. I have some pretty good ideas for some of the other bosses, which I'm working on to really make. Pardon me. To really make them stand out. As I said, the bosses aren't the main focus of the game, but they're a big part of it. So, and that's the new demon here. When you keep the occult vision up for long enough, instead of a wraith, you'll get a demon hound there. He's in his basic form, not pretty harmless, but he's gonna get there. So yeah, I wanted again to focus a lot on, you know, the mystery of solving the, you know, what killed or what's haunting the area, things like that. And then as the game progresses, I'll do more polish. The areas in the background look a lot nicer, but I'm not focused on that now because I still have fun in a game that doesn't look as good. Alright, again, you can take a look at the menus here while I'm doing the thing here. You see that I personally like the static look. It looks bright, but I think it looks pretty good with the dark black and the static look going on. So keep that for as long as I suspected. Oh, I already updated this demonic energy. But anyways, so find that crystal. But it's been quite interesting to watch people play it. Again, like I said, several of them played it solo. That was cool. Others played it with a group. They obviously, the ones that played with the group seemed to have a little bit more fun. They were I mean, they're and like some of the people say, there are some bugs and there's some funny ones too that kind of, like one of the dudes, well, all the characters, the way they hold the axe in melee, I mean, it looks kind of funny. Creature see. So it's gonna have some pretty funny memes associated to the game, but I think it's pretty funny. Switch to the other view, and it's been good too to see other people playing and actually enjoying it. And, you know, like I said, it's rough around the edges now. It's got a lot of work to do, mostly in polish, but you know, people are having fun, so it gives an extra boost in exciteness. Let's see, I'll talk to this dude here. It's been there for as long as you can remember. And I still have quite a bit of people left to do some more testing. It's the marketing again is it is the beast. It's expensive and it takes a while. So I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, I started a year in advance, so kind of what you have to do. So if you're thinking about making a game, plan on advertising well in advance. Let's see. I think we're going against the werewolf, I think. And this is where you can see what I was talking about. Stay here as long as you can remember. Alright, it's kind of complicated, you know. Stalker, where what? Territorial in my sense meant like, you know, it stayed in one place, you know, its own territory. So, primeval, and I said the creature seek has been here since the dawn of time. Primeval kind of is ancient evil. However, you know, people could get confused and think it's hellborn or something like that. So things that I'm working on that's, you know, a bit tough to coordinate. Alright, some werewolf here. And again with the launch, another thing that's funny too when I was watching people play is this dude. He is a werewolf. He's a small one. He's not the one. And you can kill him all you want. There's still the other one coming. And people had thought this was the one until the big guy shows. Which, there he comes now. Oh, I ran out of ammo already. This level, it's supposed to be an easier level because it's single player, but I made it kind of small. So, and then there you can see his spectral wolves. And obviously, you have to kill them first, but if you don't read the thing, then you're not going to know that, and you're going to think what's going on. Other dude's going to get out of the way too there. He's getting all in the face. I think the big werewolf is blocking the little ones. There we go. You can see the life going down. He'll do it twice. I think I have it set to only do twice on the single player. The spawning of the wolves. I'm not sure if I changed that. I might have updated it. Nope. Ah, there we go. Took it down. Again, I know it's relatively simple. At least it is for me. But after seeing people play, it does confuse them a bit. But you know, you can see how he has his special. The vampire has his, and you know these other ones. The Wendigo has theirs, and the rest of them will have theirs too. So I think it's going to be a pretty unique experience. Other than that, let's see. It's been interesting again to see the people playing the game, and actually having them get some jump scares and having fun. Oh, I am working on 2 more small levels. These will be the last of the small levels before the game is released. This is just a desert area. Obviously, this is not done. This is in progress, but essentially, you have this little stone house here. You know, you're gonna go in and out of it. See where I'm marking up the collisions and stuff. But there'll be a little house here, and then I'll have some little deserty things around here. And this will be more of an open area. Still small, because it's the exact same size as the rest of them. You can tell by the fence. And again, using the hard borders right now, because I hate invisible walls, but having walls is a necessity. Got a little effect going on there. Figure out why I got that little hazy effect. Anyways, there isn't a need for them. I'm just working out how I want to do it. Some levels like this level can easily be bordered off with these nice walls here, stone walls, and that would work perfectly fine. Others, like the forest and things like that, aren't so easy to naturally block. So for now, I'll think about that later, because that's not something that's major. Now we have hard borders. So I'll show you the forest level too. Forest level is a little bit crunchier, so it's a little bit compact. It's obviously still a forest, but actually, let me show you this too. I did another thing too before I get to the forest is, oh, you won't be able to see it here because I'm playing with somebody else, but I updated the one password thing, because once you can create a room name and you can create a password, and then nobody else can join it unless they obviously have your password. However, it was a bit unintuitive the way I had it, where the password thing will pop up and then it would tell you to set the password. Well, essentially you're setting it to the right one, then join it. I fixed that, so now you just put your password. If you put the wrong one in, it'll tell you, and you put the right one in, hit OK, then you can just join. So, not that that matters, but a little side note there. And then the final one, the forest. A lot of rocks, a lot of big rocks. You can climb up them a good amount. Obviously, I'm going to have to work on float now. Work on blocking those, because you can get up there pretty high. The monsters can get pretty high, but they can't get on the tip of some of these, so obviously I gotta fix that. I mean, the ranged ones can pretty much get you, but the melee ones have trouble. So things I'll work when I polish the level. This one's just starting off, you know. I got a few tombstones, things like that. And I believe in terms, oh yeah, well, just another call out, and what I'll do is I'll run through a level real quick while I talk about it, just so you got something to see. Yeah, really one of my favorites. So that's all the visual fancy stuff out of the way. Code-wise, again, haven't had as much time focused on marketing. However, there has been actually a great deal done behind the scenes. And one thing that I did is, originally when I designed the enemies, I had one script for them, essentially the enemy manager. It handled, pretty much everything, and it worked well, even for bosses, because I only had to add a few extra variables. Worked perfectly fine. I mean, it would continue to work fine too, just get cluttered, until I started adding in the different bosses' actions for their different ways you got to kill them. And what I noticed is it just really clogged up a lot of space, and a lot of what the other ones were, like normal enemies didn't need to have all this data, and they'd have like all the vampire data, all the Wendigo data, everything. So I broke it all down. I have an enemy script itself that essentially takes everything that all the enemies will need, like taking damage, health, the different ammo their ranged attacks, damage, and things like that. All that stuff that's pretty standard across all the enemies. I made that that's pretty much the main class, and all the enemies derive from that class. And then that's like a normal practice. I was just not doing it because I didn't need to at the time. I didn't think I would, but based on how everything's going now, it's much easier, especially because some of the bosses' specials are going to be really complicated and way different than the other bosses. So it's pointless to have a one giant script that does something for just one boss. So that has been pretty much completed in terms of all the enemies are separate. Again, the werewolf, the Wendigo, and the vampire are all complete, or not complete, but they're complete in terms of they have their ability. I still got to do some tweaking and effects and stuff to that, but so that's one of the big changes. Another change that I'm looking at, and I've been contemplating it if I'm going to do it or not, is the method at which the enemies are instantiated or they're spawned in the world. Right now, essentially, they whenever when a boss spawns in, when an enemy spawns in, they're instantiated. The script calls them based on the name from the resource folder that they're in, and there is, depending on what you're doing and if you're moving, there is a visual and a quick drop in frames, and probably a call to the CPU or something like that. But that is there, and it's not major. But again, obviously, I want to try to reduce all of that. So what I will eventually probably do is switch it over to. Did I just lock something up here? Oh yeah, something. Oh, I bet you something spawned. Yep. Yeah, you can see it right there. Kill this dude. You see, he spawned in, and I was doing something else, so I got a real good amount of lag. Not something that you want. Again, it's not major at all times, but when I was doing that, it was pretty severe. So, anyways, what I'm gonna do is at the beginning of the match, I'm gonna essentially have every single boss already, every creature, every boss spawned in already. They'll be under the map, somewhere hidden, just, doing their thing. So it's going to cause a little bit longer of a load in, but it's going to benefit any lag drops. So that I haven't worked on yet. That will be coming soon. Again, my main focus now is the actual marketing, because really need to get it out there and get people to wish list it and get things going. Because if you're not privy with how Steam works, especially now, if you don't have a lot of wish lists, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get you're not gonna get a lot of sales at the beginning. And obviously, not all about the sales. It's only a sweet game, but you don't get the sales, people don't play your game, then you can't afford servers, and it's a trickle-down effect, So, I'm trying to get as much wish list as possible, and from what I gathered, you need at least 10K to for Steam to actually, put an extra oomph on it and promote it too. Otherwise, you should die really quick. Otherwise, your game is just gonna fall behind. There's like thousands of games that come out every day, and especially being an indie game from an indie developer that nobody knows. Yeah, chances of it succeeding if I don't have any wish lists are way lower if I can gather people to wish list it that actually want to play it. And I mean, even not only for that, I do want people to join the Discord and actually play the game and get feedback, because it's going in early access, so that everything you see here is I have the base set up, all the systems are in. I can do a lot. I can add a whole lot more. And just in terms of that, like, again, I have ideas for different modes. Like when you come to multiplayer, you won't just have investigations. It will be like, straight assassin missions or bounty hunting missions where you'll go into a larger map, you and your friends, and you gotta hunt down a specific type of monster. Anyways, tons of stuff. I could talk about it for days. Bottom line is, right now we're at the marketing phase. We'll probably be marketing until right before the game comes out. Hopefully we have enough. If not, the game's still coming out. It's it's just taking longer. But yeah, thanks for checking it out. Again, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed and you want to see more, then subscribe. Join Discord, all that good stuff. Wish list, obviously. And yeah, thanks for taking a look.